schedule, so unless you're gonna be there like,
I agree.
3:30 or.
Okay.
But I'm kind of running a meeting with them, so I apologize for my schedule.
Okay, folks, sorry for the delay. You're out of executive session and back in regular session, and I got my company calling me for something.
Why?
We can take a couple minute break.
I have a couple minutes here.
Let everybody get in and sit down.
Hello. Good. Yes. Oh, you mean it even after you got the black round, it's still missing? Because it usually clears itself up. Yeah. Anyway, I've had people. So it'd be something weird in there.
I don't know.
I gotta go.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah. I don't know if I'm good for it.
I think he uses those ones a lot more.
All right, so everybody, let's start the regular session here, and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, item number 2 is our consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have item A, approval of minutes, regular board meeting from February 21st, 2024, special meeting March 5th, 2024, special meeting March 13th, 2024. B, the treasurer's report. C, payment of bills and journal entries. And we have D, resignations, Zone 4, Kylie Peters and Hannah Mitchell. So could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
A second or
Can
a
we
motion?
table the Zone 4 trustee resignation
Sure.
part of that?
So we don't need a vote on that, I don't think.
So.
We don't need a vote to
If you would
table
like
these?
to approve everything else, you accept this. If someone would be willing to do a motion to.
So I'll make motion to approve the consent agenda minus take out the Zone 4 trustee resignation of Kylie Peters for now.
Okay,
I'll second that
Second.
motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would recommend at this point having another motion to set the table your Zone 4 resignation to a future meeting, just so it's clear in the minutes, so that's
Okay,
down the road.
that makes sense, Chris, thank you.
And you
Okay,
can include in that, if the reopening of the position, that's the other item on your agenda, you can include those in the same motion to table if you'd like.
okay, further down on the agenda there. Yeah, because it was down somewhere else as well. All right. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Chris. All right, item number 3, delegations and reports. Superintendent report from Superintendent Pacoff.
Yeah, I want to start out just letting the public know at this point in time that before we get out, I wanted to let you know that I made a mistake in handling a situation as pertaining to the counselor issue and in dealing with the situation. I sent a screenshot of the meeting minutes to one of the parents that was not redacted. As soon as I realized my error and called our attorney, Chris Jorgensen, who directed me to call the parent and tell him I shouldn't have sent it and to not distribute it. I then called Garden Valley to have a copy of the notes sent to Chris Jorgensen to redact. I don't feel good about this. I'm very sorry and very embarrassed about doing it, and in no way was Kylie Peters involved in this. I did this on my own ignorance and error in procedure. Again, I apologize to you, the board, to the staff, and the community. So, Now for my other notes. I've been spending still between 7 and 8 a.m. Wednesday morning at Wild Bill's to see if anybody wants to come and ask questions about the school, and I haven't had any takers, very many at all, but we'd love to have somebody show up if they would like. Gabe and I are conversing weekly about the budget, usually try to keep our finger on it. Gabe's been doing a great job, and so it's not much conversation. It's pretty much one way he telling me what he did, and I'm nodding and saying absolutely. Gabe and I got a levy committee together and had our first meeting. We developed a brochure and have our second meeting to show the brochure. I'll hand this for you guys to pass out. This is not for public consumption yet. It's just a template of what we're doing, and then we're going to go after it, get it out there in the public. We're going to have a meeting next Wednesday and then have them look it over. And then after that, we're going to go full force and try to get that out. We're looking at having David Brakeman coming up here for more board training for the new board members and to update laws in the legislative session taking place. And then I myself is waiting on the legislative session to end so we can see where we are on the new laws and money for next year. And like I've mentioned before, probably get the new policies that we can enact this summer. And so that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Goff. Next item on our delegations and report agenda is the principal's report from Dr. Steve Lynch and Michelle Ogle. Steve?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
He was just here.
He was just making a cup of coffee.
Well,
I'll
Michelle,
go
if you
first.
want
I
to
don't
go
mind
first.
going first.
Thank you.
I'll pass out the incidents report. So if you look in the top left box, there we have each of the 3 weeks, or the week by week graph. And I know it's hard to distinguish the dates, but you're looking, all of this information is from the week of 3/11 to 3/14. So we did have an uptick in incidents that week. It's not surprising. It was the week before spring break. So kids do get really anxious for break, and that's pretty normal. We are still in the bottom right corner. We are still below our incidents from where we were last year. If you look at the side-by-side comparison. And then if you look at the quarter distribution, our quarter did end right before spring break. So we were at 34% for quarter 3 in terms of incidences. Yeah, again, most of the things that we see are behavior incidences, and that's predominantly what we're dealing with. I think that's it for now. Any questions?
How come there's 2 behavior?
I'm not really sure why we have a second category. I'm not really sure. Because inside of Alma, our management system, it is like you actually type it in. So I'm not sure, something must have happened where maybe a different category got added at some point. That's old data, because I think as we see this week by week, we see that second category there listed for some reason. So we'd have to go back in and see if there's some way to like delete that duplicate, but.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so, and then I just wanted to give an update. Spring is a really heavy testing time for us as a school. So we had the SATs, the juniors had the SATs a few weeks ago. And so we got that done successfully. And April 8th, we are going to be starting 2 weeks of ISAT testing, and that will be grades 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. So it's a really heavy testing time for us. That'll be 2 weeks. And we've been working hard just to get everything squared away. The community will be seeing some communication coming out probably tomorrow or Friday about that. And we've just been making sure our teachers are ready to go, our classrooms are ready, students are prepared. We've been going in and talking to students just about expectations for testing and things like that. And then one other thing, so in the fall, our 10th graders take the PSATs, which is kind of like a preparation for the SATs. And we did have one student who was recognized for their scores and was recommended for national recognition for rural schools. So that student just filled out the paperwork. And really what that does is it gives them the opportunity to receive recognition through awards on a national level, but it also allows them to get recognition at schools and colleges across the country. So we're really proud of this student. We're really happy for the student, and we're excited to see what comes of that.
Good. Michelle, do you have any indications on how the testing went? Do we have numbers back or?
For the SATs, it takes about 2 weeks. I just checked College Board's website today, and they don't have the data in. But I would guess by our next board meeting, I'll be able to have those results. And then the juniors will have those results as well. When the 10th graders took the PSATs, I went into advisory and we talked over the scoring, what it means. You know, it gave them information about careers and college choices. And so we just discussed all of that and what that meant for next steps.
Okay, I appreciate that. Principal Lynch? Yes, sir.
This document is an anticipation and preparation for the 24-25 school year, as it should be done with every single school year. You have the school mission, the vision, the core values, and the student outcomes, and these are all findable from our continuous improvement plan. I'd like to just direct you to pages 2 through 7. And there are different, there are essentially about 5 different categories, and I just want to briefly touch on these and have you guys read through it at your own time. The first one is curriculum instruction and assessment. And then you can see that there's board member 1 if you guys would like to attach yourself to one area within the school framework. The second one is entitled Climate and Culture, and that's on page 3. But the third category is entitled College and Career Readiness, which is on page 4. On page 5 is Family and Community and Engagement. And the last one is on page 6, and that's Facilities and Operations. We met and we worked on this document as a group here, and in essence, it's color-coded into 3 different ones. Red meaning that it requires high priority, and then the second one is orange, and the green one is we're good for right now. Within the yellow and then the red, we have itemized it, or we've also coded it into numbers, meaning 1 is the most high priority. This needs to be worked on immediately, get the clearance. 2, 3, 4, and we've done the same for yellows. So this is a document that is a very helpful framework as we prepare for the 24-25 school year. So it's a conversation that just needs to be had, and then action items will need to be taken with the leads on that as well. And you can see that on the priority list. There's the number as well as who should take the lead for each one of these categories. Questions on this that I can answer in of these? And obviously there's a big document. It is very comprehensive. Green means that we are doing well in a lot of different categories and areas, but there's also ones that require immediate action items and attention so that we can move forward for the next school year.
I don't see a lot of green, so
Yeah,
it looks like we have some work to do.
There's certainly work to do. The nice thing about this as well is that we have 2 months to close out this year, and this is about the appropriate time frame to get ready for the next school year.
Okay.
And then administration could really work on the things during the summertime to be fully ready for the next school year.
Well, I appreciate you putting this together because I can understand it.
Sure.
Pretty clear, yeah. Anybody have any comments?
Yeah, I just went through quick to see where do we fit in school board ones, and there's a few. Some of them are redundant, but the one that's on grading policy and practice, why would we be involved in that?
It's a policy, and policies really defaults on the school board and then the superintendent as well.
It's like changing the school policy, and why is that? Or not school policy, grading policy? Is that
Because
something
it
that's
is
on the
policy.
agenda?
It can be, certainly.
That's why it's yellow?
Mhm.
We can review it, so we can bring up policy under our agenda for a meeting. We can talk about our grading policy.
And then these are all based upon the team's work. Now, once again, if you guys feel differently, if you guys want to ask questions, we can answer those questions and we can change it. but these are the ones that we felt were the most pressing or important based upon each category. And these are just recommendations, so please do as you guys see fit. There are 5 categories in this and 5 board members. And then if you guys want to just parcel out the workload, or just have one person take points so they have oversight over one specific area, that's up ultimately for you guys to decide. The one area that was absent in this and probably needs to be added in there is activities or athletics in there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Steve. Okay. Agenda item number 4 on our thing is, our board meeting, is community forum on agenda items. This references policies 14, oops, I'm sorry, I missed one. Item number C under delegations and reports, Title I School with Mrs. Stephanie Williamson.
This is simple. That has 5 extras. Sure. All right. So first, we are already a Title I school. And so I became the Title I coordinator in January. And in learning about that when we had our audit, which is a regular audit, it's not anything special. I learned a lot about what the program actually is and what our responsibilities are for the model that we're using right now, which is the targeted assistance, which is the first column. In targeted assistance, by federal law, our parapros that are paid for with Title I funds are only able to serve children that are identified as Title I students. And that created some barriers in our school because some parents didn't want their kids to get Title I services for whatever reason. And so even though the parent might be in the classroom, legally they can only help this kid, but not that kid. And with our small school, that can be very difficult, especially with how kind and great our parents are. So I talked to Jamie Pilkerton over in Idaho City, and they said that they went to a school-wide model, which you become automatically, once I think you get to like 42 or 43% free and reduced lunch, which we're 33, I believe. But we can apply to become that. And so the differences are the 2 columns on your paper. This is targeted, which is what we are right now. And going to school-wide is where we're moving. We filled out the preliminary paperwork, and we have been approved to move forward, making our plan to become school-wide, which is a big plan, and it's going to take help from other people. But if you look at what I highlighted in orange, like participating children, it says in the first column. So that's who we can serve now. We get the same amount of money either way. And who can we serve with school-wide? All children. So any struggling child in any grade. Where it says minimize removal of children from the regular classroom, I think we're looking at having little or no removal from the classroom. We want to support the kids as needed throughout, so we're not getting there where they're needing the pullouts. And you can see with all the yellow highlights in the right, we can use our money so many more different ways. Like I said, it's the same money, but it helps Gabe too with the accounting.
Okay.
Because you can put it into preschool. You don't just have to put it into the salaries for the Title I parents. So basically, every teacher, every para becomes a Title I teacher and can serve every single student as needed. And another way this frees us up is currently a Title I para would go into a classroom where there might be some kids that need reading help. Legally, that para has to service those kids that need the reading help. When we go to the school-wide model, the para can go in the classroom and work with a higher level group or monitor the classroom, while the teacher, who knows the needs of the children, can be working with that higher needs group of kids, giving them exactly what they need. So that was why, Gabe and Pat and I got together and we talked about this, and, it was kind of a no-brainer. And so if you have any questions, I could try to answer them.
So is there any downside to being school-wide? Like, why are we not school-wide right now, I guess is the question.
Well, because we have to go there. Because, like I said, we don't automatically get it because we're not high enough poverty.
Oh, I gotcha.
So
we have to
we have
apply
to kind
for
of
it
request
with-
it.
We have to
and-
request it with,
Right.
Okay.
And, it's so hard with,
is it hard to get
being-
accepted?
it's a big document. And I have a limited time, and I've been also developing the EL program, which I've kind of checked off, and that's all done. And we're still also working on a few things that I need to submit for the audit that we're missing. So that's my next fire to put out, and then I can work on this. But I am going to have to ask some other people around here to help me with that big document, because it's basically our plan. And I've I've met with the parents, because, you have to have all your stakeholders contribute to the document. So I've met with parents, and I've met with the board, I've met with the elementary teachers, so I'm kind of working on it in the background.
Are all the teachers pretty much on board?
Oh, yeah,
Paras
Oh,
for sure
yeah.
are on board.
yeah.
They don't like being
And-
limited by, I can
and-
help you, not you.
What we talked about at the teacher meeting was for next year, because hopefully we can have this in place for next year, that they can work as a group, and coordinate, because currently we only have 2 Title I paras for elementary, and one is serving lower elementary, one is serving upper elementary. But if the teachers can work as the upper elementary and lower elementary group to coordinate with each other, when would be the best time for the paras to be in their classroom, and just work together on them creating a schedule that works for them. Then we can utilize our people more effectively.
Well, thanks for looking into it.
Yeah, and to piggyback onto the question that Eric asked, are there any extra hooks that they put into us for this?
There are not.
Okay.
So my personal fear, and I talked to Pat about this, was that, we can spend our money on preschool, we can spend our money on this. We have to be careful to keep our paras.
Sure.
Because technically, you could say we don't need paras, because we can put our money here, or we can put our money here. So we have to, keep our eye on the prize of keeping these kids from falling behind.
Right.
And giving the teachers the support they need by, you may be funding your parents somewhere else, which is what a lot of schools do. But we need to make sure we still have the bodies in the classroom.
Sounds like you're got it well covered.
Working on it.
Okay,
Thanks.
All right, any more questions? All right, thank you.
thank you. Okay. Agenda item number 4, community forum on agenda items. Do we have any? We have one, it looks like. I don't think I have to read this whole thing. I don't think so. I don't have to read this whole thing, do I? I'll tell you what, I'm gonna just read the first part. Community forum on agenda items, reference policies 1520, 4105, and 4105F. This is for public comment. And we have a public comment from Mr. Morris Morgan. We recognize Mr. Morris Morgan, and he has something to tell us on agenda item 2B.
Just I noticed that Chair Peters has resigned, and I just wanted to thank her publicly for the service that she's provided. I worked with her on the board for many years. There are not too many people that know the amount of hours that Kylie had put into the board. There were weeks where she put in more than 40 hours a week serving. There are not too many people in Garden Valley that understand or know the abuse that Ms. Peters endured serving selflessly on the board. And I want to thank her for what she's done, for the professionalism that she brought to the post, the experience that she had in areas where we were lacking. And I know that the board could serve the community and the school better with Kylie Peters on the board. So I am thankful for the time that we could have had with Ms. Peters and the time that she spent with us. So to Kylie, XJ, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Okay, next item on our agenda is item number 5, on new business. So, because we have tabled trustee Kylie Peters' resignation, I think this item is going to have to be tabled as well.
Yeah, George, should be helpful just to do that by motion, table both of those.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to table the zone 4 applicant's letter and letter of applicant letter of intent and resumes due Friday, April 12th. And I'm going, what else was I gonna do? Guess maybe we can come back to that.
2D as well.
Yeah, 2D, we got to just table the resignation.
Oh, there it is.
Both of them? or just-
Yes, to table just the one for zone 4, Kylie Peters resignation.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So I have a
to you
motion
guys.
to table the open zone for trustee zone 4 applicant's letter of intent and resume. And I have on that same motion, I have a motion to table the zone 4 resignation of Kylie Peters. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Ken's permit. Thank you. So that motion, both those motions have been tabled. So we're supposed to probably get the date. Let's table it till the next board meeting.
Next regular.
Next regular board meeting, yes. Thank you. Okay, new business item number 2, we have an open elementary teaching position. I don't know anything about this, but can anybody fill us in on this?
Well,
But you have the Hannah Mitchell.
Oh, from this one here, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
And you've been teaching her class, right?
Okay,
Thank you.
so I guess we have to
She had a big.
Yes, I did.
talk about this and do something about this.
AJ, are you gonna teach it next year?
Any discussion around this open elementary teaching position?
Say we need to open the position and
Okay,
get somebody in there.
do I have a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion to open the elementary teaching position.
Okay, I have a motion to do that. Do I have a second?
One second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, item number 3, alternative school.
I don't have anything to report at this point in time. It's still a long procedure. I'm trying to get all my information, ducks in a row before I start bringing things to the board, so.
Okay, that's still under
We're about
new
a year out.
business. Okay. Is this something we just want to table indefinitely?
I would say so. and
Until
I'll
you
get
give us new direction?
information. Yep.
Okay. I always forget, do we need a motion to table or can I just table it? Chris?
Chris?
Chris, do I need a motion to table number 3, alternative school, or can I just table it indefinitely?
Then you can just table it. You have, as the board chair, acting chair, you have control over the agenda. And so if there's items that you're not gonna take up tonight, you can
Okay.
select this one.
Yeah. Chris,
You can just say it'll be, just make that declaration. It doesn't necessarily have to be a motion to the board, but the other two, because of the, just kind of the nature of it, I think it makes sense.
okay, sounds good, Chris.
Motion, but if generally on an item, if you're not taking it up, you can just announce that it won't be addressed tonight. You can move on.
Okay, so pending more information from Superintendent Goff, I'm gonna table this indefinitely, and he will bring us new information. We'll put it back on the agenda. Okay, item number 4, Power School SIS contract.
So right now, what we're looking at, we're dealing with Alma as the SIS, after talking with several people, several individuals that deal with it extensively.
What is, I'm sorry, what's the acronym?
So a student information system.
Okay.
So it deals with all the information you can have. You can actually export stuff. Yep. Export disciplinary reports if it's worth its weight, right? And then Alma was a new one that was brought up, I think, probably 7 years ago is when it's developed out of Portland. Brand new. I think we're the only district in Idaho that's using it. We were the first one to initiate it. But it just can't do some of the stuff that we needed to do and pull some of the reporting features that we need to pull for the federal and state reporting. So Power School, a lot of the schools are going with it. I know West Ada uses Power School, a lot of the bigger school districts. Horseshoe Bend's going to move to it. Council moved to it. And it has a whole group of website. You can use their website tool. You can use their, different tools that they have. They have about 7 or 8 different things that are within one database. And so this student information system will be one. The problem with Power School also is that it's very expensive. So they came out with, it started out to be close to $30,000. And I was like, there's no way. Sharpen the pencil. So, and I've been talking with Gabe about this. I got him to split it up, brought it down to about 18, a little over 18,000, and split it half and half for this fiscal, and then the other half will be next fiscal. So we make one payment in April, and they can start the ball rolling and collecting information and pulling from Alma, and then the next one would be in August. So
Okay, is there an ongoing maintenance contract on this?
Yeah,
This is the initial.
every maintenance I think it's like 7,000 is going to be the maintenance, yearly maintenance.
And what is our, sorry.
I was saying, I thought it was 5,600 or something was
Is that what it is?
I could be wrong, but
What did Alma
Yeah, what's our,
cost us, and how much are we just kind of discarding to go to something that costs?
I don't know what Alma costs us. Gabe, do you know that
And how long did we get to use it?
right offhand?
No, no.
Because it's just, it's kind of to me, it's a light version of a student information system.
So it costs less,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm more than likely it's probably around
Was it-
30, I would imagine. So the hosted subscription is 3,500, and then the hosted SSL certification is 400. PD plus subscription, you're looking at 55.85
Currently,
per year.
For
After
Power-
we pay this for Power School.
for Power School, but we just don't know what we're paying right now for.
Right.
Oh.
Are you asking for us to make a motion to approve this tonight, or,
Yes.
okay? Is there a problem if we table it?
Yeah,
For more
I
information?
want to know more on that.
If we
Because like, if
table
I was
it,
buying,
and we can table, we're not gonna get this price. This, like I said,
the deal is
talking with
is
them.
on or.
yeah,
and
but
off.
if, I totally get it, we can table it, and I can see if I can try to get another price
Well,
later on down the road.
It's
I have
not
no
that I'm
problem
not-
with that.
I don't have any problem with the price. I just, like, if I was buying new software for my business,
Right,
I'd want to find out, well, where are my competitors? How much are they paying right now?
Sure.
I've done that. I've bought new software.
Mhm.
In my industry, they usually almost give it to you and then they make money along the process. Sounds
Yeah.
like this one, they charge a lot and then they still get you month
you
to
charge a
month.
lot, and then you pay, a little bit, meaning it's kind of like Skyward. So we paid a lot up front for Skyward, a new accounting system. But in the long run, it's gonna be less per year because of what we're paying for Tyler.
right, and then is this gonna make you guys more efficient on pulling your data and all that other
Yes,
stuff?
a lot more.
Okay, so, okay. Okay,
Like $30,000 more?
18,000.
18 this year and
Something.
18 next? or-
9 and 9.
Oh, you're saying 9 and 9, okay.
9,000.
18 and 18.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chair recognizes Michelle Ogle.
Thank you, George. So, those of us who use this management system, even from a reporting standpoint, it is not powerful enough for us to pull that information that we need, which means that that's a lot, that equates to a lot of man hours. So then when you have to manually plug in the information that you need because our system cannot pull the reporting that we need on a state and federal level, that just equates to people individually inputting that information.
Okay, so you're utilizing this to keep us in compliance with state and federal stuff
It
as
is
well.
state compliance, federal compliance, discipline, grades, information, registration.
So I've dealt with Tyler Sys, Lumen Sys, Alma. There was 2 other ones, Great Quick, in the olden days. Power School first came out, Apple is the one who put it out, and it was phenomenal.
So we
Pearson
tried a
took over.
cheaper version that didn't work out too well. And
Right.
now it's time to get the good one.
Yeah, and this one is more robust, and the great thing about it is, when the state needs a new report or something in ICs that they're gonna update, there's about 3 big players they look at. The Tyler, Power School is the first one, of course, because West Data's on it, why not, right? And so Power School, and then it's gonna be Tyler, and then they do all the off brands. And so Alma might be the last one they even look at. So it just keeps us better compliant, easier to use, more powerful.
Okay, in light of that information, do I have any motions regarding
One
this?
more question, real
Sure.
quick, if you don't mind. I was just, the training portion, is that, I mean, it broke down in there. Is
Yes.
that gonna be a big transition?
The big transition will be the people on the back end, would be your Michelle, principal, vice principal, superintendent, anybody on that level. The teachers, it looks like it's just fresh and clean. I mean, you're taking attendance, you're doing the same thing you do in every student information system. It's pretty quick and painless. The other thing that I know that it does, because we utilize this, was that if we have a substitute come in, let's say for Michelle's art class, you can actually put the substitute in. The substitute has a Power School login, and they can actually take attendance. They can't see grades or anything, but they can take attendance in there. And then you don't have to worry about passing the paper around and back and forth and getting it to you and have you enter it, right? They get their own login. Plus, they can actually have their lesson plans put in there. So when you're a sub for Michelle's class, now I can see the period 1, all the kids there, and I can see what the lesson plans are.
The chair recognizes Vice Principal Ogle.
Thank you, George. So if I could just give another example of something we encountered recently, we needed to translate a report card for a student, and we are obligated by law to offer that document in a family's native language. And when we went to do that, they offered no technical support in order for us to do that. And then when we tried to do it, it translated 1 word. That was the translated document. So Janelle and I had to actually manually go into Google, try and upload that document to get it translated. Then we had to have one of our teachers who speaks Spanish make sure that it was correct. So that's what I'm talking about, man hours.
Is there anyone opposed to it?
No, not me.
The biggest thing's gonna be learning curve. Right?
Yeah, I think right now, I would actually caution and temper this a little bit, because right now, I think a little bit more comprehensive data collection needs to happen before we actually put this to it. That's from my perspective. I'd like to, almost not the only one that's actually being used in the state right. I believe there's 4 in the state right who are actually using it.
That's good.
It's not meant to say that it's inefficient. It could be more effective, but I think that just making a decision this quickly without enough data points is not the right way to approach it from my lens. This is the first time that it has come to my plate in terms of switching SIS system. And then so for me, I think that more information from more stakeholders is necessary. I would like to see, if you really want to put this to a motion, I'd love to see this going to teachers, parents, everybody that's involved that actually uses it to get more data points rather than going off a couple of, but this is where we can actually do surveys and ask them very specific questions so that the data can truly drive the decisions. I'm not opposed to it, especially with efficiency, because I have used Power School in campus. I think that year 2 is maybe, I mean, this is maybe a breaking point as well, where we sever the ties and go with a different company altogether, but I still believe that more information is needed.
I don't know. There's too many questions.
It's a good question. Michelle.
Okay, the chair recognizes this young lady here, Lisa Willie.
What does the user interface look like from the parent's perspective? Because I know I get on it a lot to monitor my kids' grades and all of that. Is it similar? Or,
I mean, yeah, every parent interface is gonna be different, whatever student information system you're using, but this has been around for a while.
but it has one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The lunch counts, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. With no motion here, I guess, unless we have a motion, probably to send up table.
Well, I have one more question. I guess, Steve, if you said more time, what do we need to, what data points should I be asking for?
Well, we can
If
gather
we're the-
surveys really quickly. We can
Like, just to find out if all the teachers want it in Paris?
Yes, exactly. It will be a survey that will be created for multiple stakeholders or various stakeholders, and we can get you the information so that it can support the decisions of
Okay.
either keeping it or keeping all of it going to a different one. And to Lisa's point, I mean, the user base from the parental side is one of them. What if parents do like Alma, what are the reasons they like Alma? Or flip side, if they dislike Alma, please tell us the reasons why they dislike Alma. So I think there's multiple people that need to be in the part of the decision-making process, because it's not just necessarily all teachers or staff, but we can easily compile that and send it out and get you a report or the data points.
I agree with that.
If we put a 2-week window on the survey and people respond, I wish you would give that. And the ones that, once again, the biggest population of respondents that we have is teachers and staff. We're getting up close to 80% back from teachers and staff. And then we could even ask the students if they like this information system, because they are getting those grades as well, and they can pull information as well as parents. So, I mean, the point is, to answer your question, we can get it to you in timeframes that you want us to get it to you for a report.
Pat, do you think you keep the deal for a month?
The one thing, well,
You got
and I'm pretty good with, I can talk to these people. I think it'll probably be the next quarter, at the end of the quarter, you probably, check some things out. The one thing you have to worry about, though, is if you're gonna be asking surveys, you're gonna have to have the visual of what it looks like. You're gonna have to have them log into PowerSchool, log into Alma, log in, but see several different ones to see, because we can say, do you want to do student information? And they're like, no, I'm happy with this one. Well, they're happy with this one because of what they have on their end. It looks good, it looks clean.
Right.
But when you're trying to pull stuff from the backside of it and get to the data, it's not so clean.
Right.
So I know I was talking with Miranda, the same thing. She's having some issues with pulling some stuff for federal reporting. So that's, when I look at things, I want to make sure that if we're ever going to make a move, you're making a move to, number one, may have the least amount of impact on teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers, I hate to break it to you, are very resilient. And as long as they know how to do attendance and grades, and this thing is, like I said, it's been out there a long time, and it's very good. Almost good. And that was, I didn't know 4 schools were using it now. I mean, when I was first here and Jackie was looking at it, it was, it was brand new. So that's why I brought it up, trying to get it in there, get some information out. If you guys don't feel comfortable with it right now, I just need, if we're gonna ask all these people, what do they want? We need to have a login to it to see if they like the interface.
Will Power School provide that? Like
They might provide
Trial.
a sandbox that you can actually log into. We can ask them to.
If it's not too much of a hardship, could we do that and then,
Well, I don't care.
Will you address
That's-
this?
It's up to the board.
okay.
Absolutely.
I think there's just a lot of open questions on this.
Sure.
Could I ask one more question about if we're gonna table this till later, can we get prices from
Absolutely.
a competitor or two?
I know Infinite Campus, I use that. And so if they're in the future, if they go with a block system, an AB schedule type, it does not match with ICs. Because I'm using it right now, it's horrible. You have to run 3 or 4 different calendars and even the state says it doesn't. So that's the only one that I would say kind of steer a little clear of. But other than that, yeah.
just one other maybe?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
next favorite.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's a
Okay.
big purchase, right? I mean, it's an
Yeah.
expensive item.
Oh, it's a huge purchase. Yeah. It's a big undertaking.
Okay, so I'm going to table item number 4 pending further information. Could we table this to our next regular school board meeting? Okay, moving on to New business, item number 5, amended policy 3050, attendance and absences procedures. Is Crystal with us? Chris, you still with us?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, this one, we have not discussed this one at all yet.
You want to go ahead and take the lead on this?
Do you want to start first?
Do you mind as attendance clerk if I?
Nope.
Present on this?
You're right in the mix of it, so.
Okay, so a little bit of history that I recall, as best as I can recall, which actually doesn't say much, is that when Vicky was superintendent, my understanding when I was first hired, and I think our first years may have overlapped, tardies were out of control. She wanted to reel that in, and so she had the board then get the tardies portion of it. So I'm sorry, I'm looking at page 3 and 4.
Mhm.
Just a little bit stronger policy, right? So that we get those kiddos in the class on time and get learning on. We are struggling with it maybe being a little bit too stringent. I feel like kids that are even really awesome about being on time and where they need to be, 2-3 tardies in one semester, which is 76 days, means that a lot of our kids are getting detentions because maybe they're going to the restroom or they forgot something in their locker or their parents dropped them off late. Really legitimate. I'm not saying that there aren't kids, the kiddos that make poor choices, because but and to maintain and stay on top of the discipline and be consistent, or the word fidelity.
I can certainly understand the need for modifying this. That is very tight.
And then instead
What do you
of
guys
going to like
sounds good. The tardy
7,
part.
that goes to 9,
Yeah.
instead of reprimanded for the attention to, or let's say they're a minute late 7 times, 7 minutes of instruction time. And that's very, on the liberal side, but like, reprimanded to the school board for reprimand of credit, like they may be getting straight A's in their class and they just aren't getting their hanging in a seat on time.
Yep. Do we have any?
So,
Yep.
did you want to add? So I run attendance and she is on the flip side and is helping.
I run detention. So I'm spending a lot of hours, literally hours, over kids who are missing minutes.
Do we need any discussion on this, guys? Or
Not on the tardy policy. We also, this one's different.
Yeah, that's,
yeah, so
No, that's fine,
because
I
of our amended policy on approving stuff like this, we can actually make a motion and approve this right now. We don't have to have 3 readings of this if we used to. So if anybody has a motion,
Yeah, I have a motion to amend the policy 3050 as outlined as a drafted amendment here, essentially extending some of the tardies.
okay? A second?
I will second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, item number 6. Amended policy 2700, high school graduation requirements. Who has the ball on this one?
Me?
Okay,
So we would like right now, this is just for our regular diploma that we offer for high school students. Really what you're looking at is we want those graduation requirements to be reflected on what the state requires. So all of those amendments are exactly what the state requires an Idaho student to have to graduate from high school.
So we have a higher standard.
We have a
essentially.
higher standard,
Okay.
and we still want to offer those higher standards, but we want our regular diploma to align with the state.
we're gonna have levels of,
Yep.
yes.
So you can still graduate with honors with some of those things.
Have any discussion on this, guys, or?
And when I read through them, the only ones that kind of stood out to me was like, world history just got eliminated. Instead of just one last, it's just like, we don't care about the world. And I just wondered why. I mean, why that one, I guess. The rest of like PE, I get it.
Yeah,
You
what it
know.
does is it takes some of those classes and they become an elective instead of a requirement. So you still have to take electives.
That's why the electives went back up.
Yeah, and what we're working on with our master schedule right now is a sequence of classes, say for social studies as an example. World history is gonna get covered in 6th through 8th grade. So kids are still gonna get it. They're just gonna get it in middle school. And then by the time they get to high school, they're gonna focus on US history, government, and those classes. So it doesn't go away for us, it just is gonna move to a different place for kids in sequencing.
Hey, guys,
Yes.
can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Really sorry I couldn't be there. I do have a lot of questions on this actually, and I like all the proposed changes, but a lot of my questions are other things in this particular policy. And so I thought since we were modifying it anyway, maybe it would be the time to update some other stuff that I'd seen. So the first one is under the credits paragraph there. In the sentence after the highlighted one, it says students may have a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or greater. Should we change that to shall or must? Like, is a 2.0 required to graduate? That sentence just didn't,
That's a good point.
I didn't understand the may part.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
I like that wording better
Good
as well.
catch.
It's the same wording that was there before, but yes, I think that's.
Shall
Okay,
instead of may.
Yeah.
okay, and then, senior projects crossed out, but they're still required to do it. And so, does that mean they can get an F on senior project and still graduate?
No. So the way that the state requires it as a project, a completion of a project, but not a class. So we offer it within a class that's like a senior seminar. And so there's lots of other things the kids are doing within that class. So we're offering a class framework in which they get support to complete it, but the state doesn't require that. So we would still offer that within the framework of the class, but now instead of it being a credit, it's like your civics test. You have to complete it and it's like a check mark, but it's not a credit.
Okay, but
It's
it
not a
is
grade.
graded.
You still have to do it.
You still have to do it and show
Just no grade.
proficiency,
Just a pass fail.
just like the civics test. You would have to show proficiency, but you're not getting a credit.
So as part of that, actually a parent asked me about some of the senior projects and how they come about and why some of them are so different than others. And it seemed to them that some seemed a lot more difficult. And in the policy here, I see where they're required to do a presentation and things like that. Are we still monitoring that part to make sure that the policies adhere to? It's under the senior projects. It says there's a research paper and an oral presentation. I know that there's a lot of them do projects now or community service type stuff. Is
And
that
this-
part still included?
And the state requires just a written and a presentation part. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a research paper. The presentation doesn't necessarily have to be a PowerPoint. I know some of our programs that I have for culinary, for instance, we had 2 seniors cook for our board at the other school. And so they created a complete recipe, a 3-course meal, a cost sheet, and what all the ingredients were. And so that was the writing component. They split that up. The presentation was the meal itself, and then they answered questions. And so that was considered a senior project. So there's different ways you can do it. You can have a project based. We can stick with just the research base. There's also portfolios. I know a lot of schools are going to portfolios to where they have them in the gym and parents can walk around and look at the different portfolios they've done.
Yeah, and what you're describing aligns more with the CTE addition that we
Correct.
have, where you can have that other avenue. Can you hear me, Ken? So you can have
Yeah.
another avenue of getting the senior project completed, like through a CTE type curriculum maybe, instead of a research paper and everything.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, under the senior project part, it says research paper and oral presentation. I was wondering if we wanted to reword that to provide a little bit more flexibility for like a project.
Yeah.
Especially for, yeah, like a CTE project, if they wanted to, I don't know, rebuild a small engine or.
Those are all good questions, Ken, and this is only our first reading of this, so
Yeah,
we can keep this open.
okay.
Do you have
And that
a,
wasn't even on my list here. I got some other stuff. So on that first table there for, the regular diploma.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's go to the second table, the honors diploma. You might want to check me on this, but if I tally up those numbers, I come up with 56 instead of 53 credits. And I think part of that is because you used to be able to do 6 credits of math instead of 8. So I'm thinking we should take out that asterisk on the math and that note below the table. Because that applied before 2022.
Is he talking about the honors?
Yeah,
Yes,
so he
yes,
said like, this
honors.
doesn't add up to 53.
Okay. That's coming. We did not have time to amend the honors and the CTE graduation pathways yet.
Right.
So that, you could expect that in April.
So you want to work on that some more?
Oh, yeah. No, it's not done yet. It's just, we just got the regular one ready.
Yeah, and again, I kind of preempted this by saying that we can approve it in one night. We don't
But
have
we
to.
don't have to.
So we can table this till our next regular board meeting and we can, maybe we can address some of these things with Michelle and
Sure.
we'll
Yep.
just,
No problem.
Okay.
But I did have one that was more of a policy question, I guess.
okay,
Something that we should discuss maybe. So under the alternate programs.
Yep.
The last paragraph says, all grades earned, including failures and retakes, shall be recorded as such and utilized in the calculation of grade point average and class rank. I was wondering if that was a state requirement or if we have flexibility. To me, if a kid puts in the effort to redo a class, I hate for it to count if they failed it the first time. It'd be nice if it didn't count towards their GPA. You guys follow that?
so,
yeah.
change that last sentence then maybe? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts and everybody's thoughts were on that. To me, like if, let's say someone enrolls in an IDLA and they're a freshman and it's above their head and they end up getting an F in the class or something. And then later down the road, they said, you know, I'm going to retake that class to help my GPA out.
Mhm.
I would like them to be able to do that, like to have a chance to take it again.
I can see your point. I don't know how that fits in the school curriculum stuff, but
Is that how it works right now?
Okay, so despite, may I chime in?
Yeah.
Okay, so my understanding is your transcript is gonna say freshman year, you got an F, right? You take sophomore year, you decide you're gonna retake it. So that is what, and it's better grade and you pass. You get the credit from it and then that's what goes into your GPA is my understanding as registrar. Now I could be wrong and I can look into this. I can get a hold of Alma and clarify. I think it's a valid question and I wish that I was more certain in my answer. The only time that I wouldn't put anything on a transcript if it was run through a certain program called credit recovery. And that is, you didn't pass it and you went to give it another shot and you failed again. We don't want you to get pinged twice for 2 Fs, right?
Right.
So, Can I look into that for you, Ken? I apologize, I just don't know, it's a good question. Not something I had thought of.
I think
Well, I
change,
have a pretty good example of it. So I got a D in freshman English because I didn't get along with the teacher very well.
Sure.
I was allowed to retake it. That D's still on my transcript, but it didn't count towards my GPA.
Right.
Because I retook the class
So-
and got a higher grade.
We need to know if.
You just want to make sure that it is that way still.
Well, the way this reads, it seems like it's not, because it says, shall be recorded as such and utilized in the calculation of grade point average and class rank. It says including failures and retakes.
So fix that as.
So, sorry, I'll ask Alma how they calculate that. And then I'm actually probably gonna reach out to Stephanie Corn, because I think this is probably something that she just knows right off the top of her head. I'll ask Alma how they calculate, that type of situation, and then confirm with Stephanie what that looks like. Does that sound okay with
Yep.
Jeff?
So let's just take this as a first reading and we'll table it till our next regular school board meeting.
Yeah, and I just had a couple other things, but they're, things that I can ask or just submit. They don't have to be discussed. Just wording clarification.
Nice
Okay.
job, good finds.
Item number 7. Approve Jack Craig, Henrietta Penrod Scholarship Committee members. Okay. Steve Lynch, Kim Gregg, Nicole Miller, Kylie Peters, Jesse Goff, and Connie Coulter. So this is the scholarship committee we formed. So we're just looking for a motion, I guess, to approve those people for that committee. Any discussion on this, guys? You know what they're asking for?
Did you say that Kylie?
Right, we need that one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Pat,
I
do
made
you
a
have any-
motion with that.
Okay.
Different? Or you make? a motion?
I can make them.
Okay.
If you guys have done with any discussion on that,
Yeah, it's just kind of a perfunctory thing, so.
so I'm gonna make a motion to approve the Jack Craig Henrietta Penrod Scholarship Committee. All the names listed except Kylie Peters.
Okay,
I believe we may need a school board member on it.
we may need one.
Well, we need one. That's why there was a school board member on it.
Okay. Would anybody like to add
I'll
their name?
nominate
to that?
Clay.
I can do that.
Okay, so we're gonna amend that list. Do we have to read it off? Can we read?
So
let's just
right
read
now
it
we
off.
have motion to approve Jack Craig, Henrietta Penrod Scholarship Committee members, all except Kylie Peters
And, yeah.
with,
Do
sorry.
you want to add Clay Tucker?
I will add
He's
my
gonna do
name to that list in my motion.
To that list.
Okay.
Motion in the motion.
We can clean that up. please.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
1 second.
I will second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I,
Okay, this one should be an easy one. Item number 8, approve school cancellation on March 6th for winter road conditions. Do we have any discussion?
It was weak, but you have to approve it. It's done.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the school cancellation on March 6, 2024 for winter road conditions.
Okay. Any
I'll
seconds?
second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, that motion passed. Okay, we got some old business here. Superintendent's evaluation. I know we've already discussed this. I don't even remember where we are on this anymore. Do we have to approve this at this meeting?
No.
Okay.
We approved it all.
We were talking,
It's okay.
talking with David Brinkman, I think, last.
Right,
Where that
that's right.
conversation
David was
ended,
gonna
and then
come and,
Very
So it's
good.
just good.
yeah. Let's just,
Yeah.
Good one till April.
okay,
Are we gonna try to do our training in April?
yeah, David's supposed to be coming back out to help us again. Okay, old business, item number 1, superintendent evaluation is tabled till next regular school board meeting. Okay, we do have to go back into executive session. I don't even know what to do anymore, but I'm gonna,
You know what section?
yeah, we never finished up. We need to, we just
All of them
need to
again?
basically repeat that, yeah.
Okay.
So I need to have a
I
motion.
I'll motion to move into executive session to continue conversation with Idaho Code 74-206, section A, B, D, and F, personnel and student issues.
I will second.
Okay, can I get a roll call vote?
Clay Tucker, aye.
Eric Blue, aye.
George Simpson, aye.
Ken Donnelly, aye.
Okay, motion passes. We are going back into executive session. Thank you all. There's going to be no vote on anything, so appreciate you showing up.
I didn't know whether you wanted this or